Hello, a very warm welcome to everyone. It's so great to see so many of you here today. So this is our second ever event, and following on from last year's event, we're now going to look at how the power of the internet and new digital platforms can offer further opportunities to the independent film community. Today, the vast majority of independent films have little or no distribution. Last year, over 20,000 feature films were produced around the world. Only 500 of these were released in cinemas in the UK. And the majority of these 500 had a limited release and never reached their potential audience. The situation is pretty much the same around the world. The existing theatrical-led model can only effectively service a few titles each year, mostly studio films and a handful of breakthrough independents. The response by many in the film world is to make fewer but higher quality films. But this type of thinking illustrates the complete denial about the vast changes that have already taken place with digitization of media. More films, not less, will be made, as affordable filmmaking tools are accessible to all. Filmmakers no longer need the permission of the film business to make films, and there's a whole new generation of filmmakers who are growing up with cameras in their hands, and these filmmakers just don't hesitate to explore the available no-cost ways of showing their work online to the communities and audiences they are building. And what is quality or what is relevant to these audiences can no longer be defined by a few people in the film industry. The relationship between audiences and creators is changing, and then the explosion of fan and remix culture means audiences are no longer just passive viewers, but active collaborators, distributors, and sometimes even financiers of films. Audiences are no longer prepared to wait for the film industry to deliver media to them. They're accessing and interacting with media on multiple platforms and devices when they choose. And this offers exciting new possibilities for storytelling. We're no longer bound to a 90-minute format. Filmmakers can now extend their stories to exist simultaneously or over time across media. Film as we know it will transform. But the big question, of course, is how will we finance films in this new world? And how will money flow back to investors and creators? Will the film business face the same fate as the music industry, who were too slow off the mark to engage with new audience behavior? Instead of adopting new consumer-friendly models, they went to war with audiences over file sharing and lost. So over the next 2 days, we'll be looking at new ways films are being created, financed, and are reaching audiences in an evolving multi-platform world. We're not going to be talking about fixing or digitizing the old model, but about totally new models. So all of our speakers, whether they describe themselves as filmmaker, producer, exhibitor, or distributor, are building businesses and careers that begin with the audience and the internet at the center, not as add-ons to the theatrical-led model. Now, just a quick word about the program. So this morning, the first two presentations will explore the new world of cross-media and the evolving behavior of audiences. Then after the break, we're going to be looking at some of the newest ways that audiences are accessing independent and specialist films online. After lunch, the discussion will move on to finance, looking at new models of finance. And then much of the afternoon, we're going to be listening to filmmaker case studies, listening to the people who are really finding new ways of interacting and collaborating with their audience. Then finally, we're going to look at a potential new model for the film industry that focuses on collaboration, sustainability, and community. Then for our second day, we're going to be moving to the Royal Society for Arts, and we're going to continue today's discussions with focused workshop sessions with experts, and also having meetings with experts. And tomorrow night, we're really proud to be launching a brand new project forum, which will be at the center of next year's event. Then finally on Friday morning, some of the speakers are going to get together in a small group and do a think tank and draw conclusions on what we've discussed here over the 2 days. And the results of what we discuss are going to be put online, along with all the videos that we're recording, so you can access everything after. And if you can't come to tomorrow, all the videos are going to be online afterwards, so you can see some of those presentations and workshop sessions. But now I'd like to say thank you to the many individuals and partners who have made this lineup very possible. So first, of course, an extra special thanks to my fantastic Power to the Pixel team, Nikki Neem, Ines Braga, Brian DeVore, and the wonderful Tishna Moller, who's the event producer, who's been working with me the last few months around the clock to make this happen. And thanks to Sandra Hebron and the London Film Festival for continuing this exciting collaboration. And a massive thanks to our principal funder, Skillset, and especially to Janine Marmot. Without their funding and support, this would not happen at all. A huge thanks to our other partners, UK Film Council, FDMX, Nesta, Film London, and the London Development Agency. And then to our principal media partner, Screen International, and online partner, YouTube. And then to our strategic partners, Workbook Project, Indiegogo, Shooting People, and the New Producers Alliance. And lastly, of course, to all our speakers who have come from a long way around the world to share their experiences and knowledge with us. So we've got speakers from Brazil, Australia, North America, Germany, Finland, and Spain. And it's really interesting having this international perspective on what the changes are. So today, we've got a really tight schedule, and I'm sorry if we're not going to get a chance to do that many Q&As. We're hopefully going to have a few questions after each session, but we're having a party afterwards, so hopefully all the speakers will be there and you can catch up with them then. So now let's begin. And it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our first speaker, Christy Diener, who's come all the way from Australia to talk to us. She's one of the world's leading cross-media experts, and she's going to be talking to us about why we should be interested in telling stories across multiple platforms. Thanks.